It is time for the official coin toss. Joining the team captains of the Eastern and Western Division champions on field is the Scotiabank Kit Captain for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Ashton Coletta, and the Scotiabank Kit Captain for the BC Lions, Jillian Millard. And please welcome the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohan, and the man in motion, Rick Hansen.
Veuillez accueillir le commissaire de la Ligue canadienne de football, Monsieur Mark Cohan, accompagné de Rick Hansen.
25 years ago, Rick Hansen wheeled through 34 countries over 26 months to raise awareness for people with disabilities and spinal cord research. Rick's drive and determination remind us that anything is possible. We all have the power within us to make one small change, creating a positive difference in our community. Enjoy the 99th Grey Cup.
Kickoff moments away, but first to the sidelines. Here's Sarah Orleski.
Paul, you know that noise is going to be an issue in this building. You're playing Lions in BC. How will your team try to deal with it?
Well, I think you want to execute offensively and try to quiet them. And certainly we have systems in place that we've worked on since training camp to handle the noise.
Thanks for this, Coach. Let's go over to the BC sidelines at Farhan Lalji.
Wally, you will tie Don Matthews with your 9th appearance in the Grey Cup as the head coach. What are your emotions going into this game?
Well, one, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Don, and we have a very good friendship. You know, it's a humbling but a very blessed feeling.
Thanks, Wally.
Thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Farhan. The site of Winnipeg's last Grey Cup victory in 1990, and the last home team to win, the BC Lions, in 1994 here at BC Place Stadium. Just about set for the 99th Grey Cup game. And so many intriguing storylines.
Both these teams outstanding defenses for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, led by Doug Brown, 11 seasons out of Simon Fraser University, 7-time All-Canadian. This Grey Cup, the 99th, will be his last game in pro football. Brent Johnson isn't quite as sure, but this also may be his last. A two-time CFL Most Outstanding Canadian leads the BC Lion defense. Javon Johnson, the first defensive back ever to be chosen as the Defensive Player of the Year.
Marco Iannuzzi, Tim Brown back. The 99th Grey Cup game is underway from Vancouver. It's Tim Brown from his 11. And Brown with a big hole. And just tripped up by the kicker. Jamie Borum, a 34-yard return, setting things up, and an early scrap involving Solomon Elamimian. We had debate off the player introductions. James Green on the Winnipeg side of that bout.
Travis Lulay leads the BC Lions after an 0-5 start, finished second in the league with 4,815 passing yards and 32 touchdowns. In the last 12 games, a great 11-win run for the BC Lions through 25 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions.
Lions start at the 46, a fake to Harris, and that pass caught, but Marco Iannuzzi taken down immediately by the All-Canadian safety, Ian Logan.
With Travis Lulay in that starting offense for the BC Lions, Andrew Harris out of the backfield, 458 yards rushing, playing about half the season. There's Geroy Simon, All-Canadian at slot back. Also watch Arlen Bruce on the opposite side, and All-Canadian at center. Angus Reid leads a great offensive line.
Starting lineup brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the CFL and its 8 teams. Lions wanted to avoid second and long. They're in one early, 2nd and 10. Protection, Lulay, open man. Pierre Johnson has the catch for the first down into Bomber territory at the Winnipeg 50.
Pierre Johnson's got outstanding speed. You can see that Travis Lulay is starting this Grey Cup championship like he started the West Final against Edmonton. Great confidence, steps up with a great throwing lane in front of him, and a good throw and catch out of the gate for Travis Lulay.
15 for Johnson. Lion first down. Harris releases from the backfield. He's got the ball. Andrew Harris, the Winnipeg native, is taken down about the 43-yard line. Watch the Lions win the 06 Cup as a fan at Canadian Stadium.
#1 defense in the league in a lot of categories in the Canadian Football League. There's Doug Brown that leads the defensive line. Will go through a rotation in the middle. You'll see Pierre-Luc Labbé at middle linebacker. And in the secondary, we've talked about Javon Johnson. The one change is Dion Beasley plays for Brandon Stewart at corner.
2nd and 4. That's Arlen Bruce in motion. Back for Lulay. Watch Genoy Simon. And out of his reach as he was being tracked by Clint Kent.
Well, both these quarterbacks here in this game are going to have to be patient. They're playing against great defenses, and both quarterbacks have to try and find that balance. Travis Lulay between making that big play, pushing the ball down the field, but also protecting it. The Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense led the CFL in takeaways in 2011.
So the Lions start with 4 consecutive pass plays, and here's the top Canadian from the 06 game, Paul McCallum, looking for the corner, and he'll put that out inside the 10. Let's find out how good the angle was. The Bombers will be backed up at their 7-yard line when Buck Pierce, and Winnipeg goes to work for the first time. We're scoreless early in the 99th Grey Cup game from Vancouver, BC. Great atmosphere in this building, and we'll find out how loud it's going to be and how much of a factor that will be in the Winnipeg offense.
You'll find out right now when that Winnipeg offense is on the field.
Deep start. And the quick hitter looks inside for Chris Garrett, the style last week with 200 yards from scrimmage against Hamilton.
Buck Pierce, the starting quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 34 games and 5 years with the BC Lions before Wally Buono decided to go in a different direction. Perseverance, the word that comes to mind when it comes to Buck Pierce, who suffered through many injuries. Missed just 2 starts this year. He's led his team to the 99th championship.
2nd and 5, 2 backs in as the fullback. Paul stays in. Here comes the rush. Pierce steps up. He'll run past McKenzie, and a helmet pops off on the hit from Corey Banks, and there's a signature play early from Buck Pierce.
Both the quarterbacks in this game have the ability to create and to extend plays with their athletic ability. Buck Pierce will do it. During the year, he started to hook slide. He's got a great length. That offensive line opens it up. You will not see Buck Pierce hook slide. Not in this game.
No, he was emphatic about that. No sliding, but strap it up. Buck, you're going to need that helmet today. 12-yard run, first down. Fake to Garrett. And here comes Canadian Corey Watson, who led the Bombers in receiving this year with 69 catches and the most against this BC team with 122 yards.
Buck Pierce will have Chris Garrett in the backfield. Chris Garrett, 29 carries, 190 yards and a touchdown versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. His leading receiver will be Terrence Edwards. 1,124 yards on the season for him. And that offensive line is led by All-Canadian left guard Brendan Labatt.
7 for the Concordia product, Watson. 2nd and 3. Garrett going to kick it outside. Karan Williams with the play. The top defensive player on the Lions this year with a stop.
This BC Lions team on defense ranked 2nd in the Canadian Football League against the run. They have a tremendous front 7 with excellent depth. Missed Karan Williams late in the regular season due to an ankle injury. He was back for the playoff game. Karan Williams, big play on defense, putting the punt team on the field for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Jamie Borum, University of Manitoba product, one of only 2 Bombers with the Grey Cup ring. His in 2007 with the Rough Riders. And here's Tim Brown at the 45. He'll run across midfield. inside the 45 for Tim Brown. And an early field position advantage for BC. 21-yard punt return by Tim Brown sets things up for the Lions. Their first possession started on their 46. Their second begins just inside the Winnipeg 45-yard line. And the toss to the left side. Here's the Winnipegger, Andrew Harris. And he is strung out and brought down at about the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Hefney and Clint Kent with the defensive play.
Yeah, they came from inside out. Dion Beasley also turned it inside. Dion Beasley, the only real newcomer to that secondary due to the injury of Brandon Stewart. We'll see if Travis Lule in this offense tries to test him in this Grey Cup championship. They have 3 of the 5 All-Stars in the back end, including Jonathan Hefney, Javon Johnson, and Ian Logan.
Javon Johnson, the first ever DB to win Best Defensive Player in the Canadian Football League. 2nd and 10. 6 receivers out. Lule underneath. And the catch is made by Akeem Foster. And Foster down to about the 32-yard line as a BC Lion first down.
Akeem Foster injured for the back half of the season. Got back on the roster in time to get in this game. Paris Jackson was in the starting lineup, but we will see some Akeem Foster out of St. FX. He's a big target, a long strider. He can stretch the defense.
Yards for Foster. First year starter. They go to a double tight end formation. Short drop over the middle, and Arlen Bruce unable to pull down the high pass.
Javon Johnson is the leader of that secondary, and that's the challenge for Arlen Bruce and G. Roy Simon. Of course, the outside where Javon Johnson will play that corner. Led the Canadian Football League with 8 interceptions. As I mentioned, the first defensive back to be ever been named Defensive Player of the Year. And not only was he an All-Canadian, but he was a Player's Choice All-Canadian as well. CFL-PA All-Star team.
On the practice roster in 2007 for Saskatchewan, admitted wasn't playing in the game and was a regular breaking curfew that week. Did not break curfew this week. 2nd and 10, and wide open. The catch is made for another first down, and there's Paris Jackson. After the last completion by the Lions was from the other wideout, Akeem Foster.
Yeah, 2 different types of receivers. Paris Jackson has the experience. A tough season for him. He didn't get a whole lot of playing time till late in the year with the injury to Akeem Foster, but look at how he sits down in that zone. And Travis Lule will take the hit to complete that one over the middle to Jackson.
Jason Vega gets the hit on Lule, who did not throw a touchdown pass in 2 games against Winnipeg. Inside handoff, big hole, Andrew Harris, touchdown! A 19-yard touchdown run for the kid who idolized Charles Roberts and has scored a major in the Grey Cup against Winnipeg.
Blocking up front, outstanding by that BC Lion offensive line as they're going to slide to their right, opening up a cutback lane for Andrew Harris. Good acceleration through the hole, and he's not hit till that goal line.
Extra point by Paul McCallum. 5-play touchdown drive, 45 yards, and the 19-yard run by Harris.
Jesse Newman and Ben Archibald, the left side of this offensive line, get the down blocks. In fact, they're going that way with Marco Iannuzzi on the kick-out block across the formation. That's going to open things up for Andrew Harris. And Jonathan Hefney right here, who had to overplay it to cover Marco Iannuzzi, is out of position to try and make the tackle on Harris, who finds pay dirt.
That kick by McCallum is out of bounds, and so that will give good field position. The kid from the Vancouver Island Raiders, who has become a rising star in the league, Andrew Harris, putting the first points on the board.
Illegal kickoff out of bounds. BC number 4. Winnipeg has elected to take the ball at 45-yard line. First down.
A surprisingly errant kickoff from Paul McCallum, who's been almost perfect this year.
A good field position for Winnipeg. One more look at that touchdown, and a little bit of patience first when Andrew Harris takes the football, then that great acceleration when that backside hole opens up. Got the Lions on the board first.
Mom Carleen and her 7 sisters watching this one in Winnipeg. Likes the way the Lions have started. Here's Buck Pierce throwing the big Greg Carr. Pulls it down, but that's a short gain. Working against the Sam linebacker, Anthony Reddick.
Outstanding front 7 for the BC Lions, starting with their defensive line. Khalif Mitchell, an all-Canadian at the interior of the D-line. In that rotation will be Brent Johnson as well. Solomon Elimimian leads the linebacking corps. 98 tackles on the year for Elimimian, and all-Canadian Corey Banks is a playmaker in that secondary.
Second and 7 from the Bomber 48. Garrett releases over the middle. That one knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That big front 4, 9 knockdowns during the regular season. Eric Taylor got a paw on that.
3 sacks on the season for Eric Taylor, and they've got a nice rotation going on up front over the back half of the season. Karan Williams back from injury. He is now in that rotation, and when you're bringing Brent Johnson off the bench, it's pretty good. A luxury for Wally Guano.
Only 3 2-and-outs for the Bombers last week in the Eastern Final. First of this game as Borum kicks it away. And not a good punt. And that one will go out at about the 36-yard line. Jamie Borum, who took over late in the year for Mike Renaud because of kicking problems.
Maybe some nerves for the kickers. Paul McCallum has been money all season. He put a kickoff out of bounds. Jamie Boren shanks that one.
16 yards, the length of the kick.
Legal punt out of bounds. Winnipeg number 30. A 10-yard penalty will be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
So the Lions with the lead, and will have great field position when we come back. You're watching the 99th Grey Cup game on TSN. Friday night, Dwayne Ford was part of the broadcast of one of the great Vanier Cups ever. He's on the sidelines for us today with additional analysis. Dwayne.
Hi guys, so far the BC Lions off to a quick start offensively, but one guy who hasn't caught the ball yet, Geroy Simon, the Lions' leading receiver. One reason could be the things that the Bomber secondary is doing to cover him up. We'll be back in the second quarter to have a little bit closer look at that.
Geroy Simon, second all-time behind only Milt Stegall in his third Grey Cup game.
Congratulations to McMaster. What a great Vanier Cup that was.
Kyle Quinlan made an impression, didn't he? Great field position start, a little play action, and there's Geroy wide open. Geroy Simon down the sidelines, and they're going to rule him out at the 16-yard line. Almost got to Geroy's corner.
They're going to switch Geroy Simon and Kier Johnson. The BC Lions bringing Geroy Simon as the wideout, Kier Johnson in as the slot back. Now Javon Johnson's going to come down and lose Geroy Simon. Looks like he's going to try and pretend that he's blocking on Javon Johnson, then break to that short corner, run down the rail, and just pushed out of bounds.
39 yards, that's the biggest play for Geroy Simon in a Grey Cup game. In fact, relatively quiet, 7 for 72 in his 2 previous games. First down, Lule on a roll. Now throws Simon in the end zone, knocked down. There's Dion Beasley with the defensive play on Geroy Simon.
Geroy Simon finished the year 66 yards behind Milt Stegall for the all-time lead in Canadian Football League history in receiving yards. 15,087 on what has been an outstanding, tremendous career. 6-time All-Canadian and Talking to G. Simon this week, and the way he trains and takes care of himself, I'm sure we'll see G. Simon back again in 2012.
Looking for his first Grey Cup touchdown. 2nd and 10. Iannucci getting set up now to the wide side. Here comes pressure. Lule puts it up for grabs and throws it away out of the reach of Iannucci with the heat coming. And it looked like there was a little confusion on that setup by the Lions on 2nd and 10.
Well, and good pressure really causes problems for Travis Lule. To the left of your screen, it's coming off the edge here, and I believe it's Rodney Fritz, who had a tremendous Eastern final against the Hamilton Tiger Cats with 4 tackles and 2 sacks. And Fritz causes problems in the backfield for Travis Lule. Tim Burke has got his hands full with an offense that's been on a roll since moving back to BC Place Stadium.
4th consecutive Grey Cup game for Tim Burke as a defensive coordinator. What a year for the outstanding special teams player in the CFL. Paul McCallum was 6 for 6 in the 06 Grey Cup win. Splits the uprights on that 22-yarder. And the Lions up their lead.
BC Lions doing, or have a chance to do, what hasn't happened very often in Canadian Football League history. When you think of this as the 99th Grey Cup championship, and only 3 times has that championship been won by the home team at home, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats in 72 beat Saskatchewan, Montreal, and famous 77 game, and the 94 BC Lions beat the Baltimore Stallions by 3 here in BC Place.
There's our decibel meter here, and we'll be tracking that when Winnipeg is on offense over the football. So there's a indication of what it is right now. It'll get a lot louder, and Paul LaPolice's offense has to make a little bit of noise here in the late stages of this opening quarter.
They do, but they don't want to deviate from what's got them here, and that's ball control. Chris Garrett attacking a strong defensive line with a strong run game, and that's what Paul LaPolice has done throughout the last half of the season, and certainly in the Eastern Final against Hamilton.
Here's McCallum kicking it to Beasley. And Dion Beasley is brought down by James Juracek. Brampton native with a special teams tackle, and now Chris Garrett gets ready to go to work.
Last week, 190 yards. That ranks 8th all time. When you take a look at the names on the list in the top 5, led by Mike Pringle, who after that 264-yard game in 1997 had a 2,000-yard rushing season in 1998.
Asked Mike Benavides about stopping Chris Garrett. He said it's going to be a challenge. He looks like he's tired of making practice roster money. Double tight end formation. And they think they reverse. And Clarence Denmark's not going to turn it upfield. Great pursuit, and Corey Banks, as always, in the middle of that for the BC defense.
Paul LaPolice calls the plays for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and he's calling plays right now that are going laterally. And that's just respect for that BC Lion defensive line. Little play action to Chris Garrett, who's going to bounce, and then it comes around the end, a fake reverse. Clarence Denmark, there's a lateral run place. In the Eastern Final, he attacked the line of scrimmage with Chris Garrett.
Bombers led the league in big plays. They need one. Early in this one, 2nd and 10. Pierce, look out. Looks like it's intercepted. Anton McKenzie's got the football for BC.
BC Lions have been doing this all season long. They get 4-man pressure. Good pressure up front by just 4. What does that allow? That allows the linebackers to drop underneath the coverage. Anton McKenzie is going to help out his defensive backfield. Sink back underneath that dig route and then play the eyes in the football as it comes across the middle. Well played by the linebacker, but they have the luxury to do that on defense in BC because of the pressure provided by just 4 up front.
The takeaways last week, lethal for BC. And we're going to get a challenge on the catch as Paul LaPolice wants another look. 3 takeaways by the Lions in the Western Final, and all led to BC touchdowns. 21 points off turnovers.
Ruling on the field of a completed pass. The play will be reviewed.
Well, there's no question that Anton McKenzie was juggling it as he went down. When I watched it live, it looked like he had turned on his back and that ball never touched the ground. From that angle, it was tough to tell. But let's take another look. This may say more. You can see he doesn't have full control. The question is, did that ball touch the ground? And he used the ground to pin it against his chest.
Might be the best look at it there. And again, it has to be conclusive to overturn.
But a closer call than it looked live. And a good challenge early on from Paul LaPolice. The interception, of course, at worst. Flops field position in a hurry. There it's out. Bounces off his leg, and does it touch the ground right there?
Jake Ireland looking at this at the command center.
What's on the line for this challenge for Paul LaPolice, of course, is about 30 to 40 yards of field position.
And unlike any other game, the command center is... We're now just confirming the command center is in Toronto. It has been at the site of the Grey Cup previously. Jake Ireland is going to take his time with this call.
Let's take one more look.
And does he maintain security of the football, or does he use the ground to help him? It would be the first interception of the year for Anton McKenzie. And it's a critical call this early in the game. The Lions threatening to have possession and start a drive for the 3rd consecutive time in Winnipeg territory if this is upheld.
Well, BC Lions have had that field position advantage for the entire first quarter so far. They've had 55 yards in return yards from Tim Brown. An excellent field position with a 10-point lead. Here's the ruling.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It will be first down BC.
Still think that was a good challenge by Paul LaPolice. It took a while to make sure, and I'm not so sure that didn't fall into the category of not enough evidence to overturn what was called an interception from Anton McKenzie.
Well, look at the difference in field position so far. An average start at the Bomber 52 for BC. First down at the 46. Back in the hands of Harris. And down to about the 44-yard line.
As Travis Lulay came out on that fake and continued on, he took a look downfield, Chris, and saw a wide open Paris Jackson. And that is one of those plays where Lulay has the option to pull it on Andrew Harris and take it out around the edge. I'm surprised to see that as this play package continues to progress.
Well, this will be a cause for concern for BC as the right tackle, Javon Olafioye. Or check that Jesse Newman is down. Jesse Newman, the left guard out of Powell River, BC.
Jacques Chapdelaine, the offensive coordinator, I'm sure saw the same thing that Travis Lulay did on that run play.
John Hameister-Reese will check in. He started the year at left guard. Jesse Newman took over when Hameister-Reese was hurt in week 3, and Newman wouldn't give the job back. Bill Rochelle helping Newman to the sidelines. Just 7 sacks allowed by the BC Lions in the last 10 games of the year. They gave up 25 this year, but Suits, 10 of them were against Winnipeg.
We talked about that BC Lions D-line. Well, the Bombers front 7, they've been outstanding all year long. Led the league in sacks with 55.
They need a stop here. 2nd and 7. Sean Gore sets up to this near side. Looked like Arlen Bruce jumped prematurely, and the play does not get off.
But did you notice the matchup, Chris? They brought Arlen Bruce inside. He was the man that looked like moved early, but they brought Javon Johnson inside to cover him. Javon Johnson normally playing outside.
BC number 1, 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Tim Burke, the Bombers defensive coordinator, starting to juggle things up and try and create matchups, bringing Javon Johnson on that last play in to cover Arlen Bruce.
So it's 2nd and 12. 4-man rush. Lule delivers high over the outstretched hand of G-Roy Simon.
Well, that's a big play for the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense. And yes, that throw just a little bit high. And then, you know, Travis Lule going to the bench will be pointing at himself. But Tim Burke needed a stop. And this one, with the field position advantage the Lions have had early in this game, slip away quickly here unless the Bombers got that key stop. That was a big one.
Somehow Winnipeg has to flip this field. Javon Johnson mentioned the other day, the last time he played in this building a couple of years ago, he had a punt return for a touchdown and an interception return for a touchdown. But Paul McCallum's not going to let him return that. Got a bad bounce in the end zone, and so this will go for a single point. Looked like McCallum just missed, putting it out around the 1.
One of the games inside the game. Javon Johnson underrated for his ability to return. In fact, he's been so close all season long. Does not have a punt return touchdown this year, but has been very, very close, like 1 tackle away on at least 8 occasions. He is a guy that in a play can flop the field and get the field position back. So far, though, Paul McCallum in a couple of punts has kept it real close to the sideline. That one he got a bad bounce, went into the end zone. So the Bombers will have it on the 35.
And he'll kick the ball to me all day.
Javon Johnson just mentioning into the camera, he's not going to kick it to him.
Just 1 first down for Buck Pierce so far in this first quarter. Anthony Reddick coming on the blitzes. A handoff inside to Chris Garrett. Close to 5 up to the 40 with Solomon Elimimian on the tackle, the hardest hitter in the Canadian Football League as voted by his peers.
All-Canadian Solomon Elimimian, who has stepped up here and is perfectly suited against a running back like Chris Garrett, who likes to cut back.
Should be the final play, opening quarter, 2nd and 6. Looking for Denmark, incomplete. Tad Cornegay there defensively in his 4th breakup in 5 years. Another 2 and out, and a sluggish start for the Bombers.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
Our first quarter numbers dominated by the BC Lions, especially that average drive start. Field position a big issue in the opening quarter.
No question. That's been the edge in this first quarter for the BC Lions with field position. And it was Tim Brown that started it with the opening kickoff. He took that back 34 yards. Another good return on a punt return. So the Lions have had the field position advantage, and it reflects that in the score.
How concerned should you be if you're a Bomber fan?
Not too concerned yet. This has really been their MO. They play good defense, played better defense in the second half of that first quarter. Their offense will get on track. Remember, this is a team that has just 5 players that have played in a Grey Cup championship. The BC Lions, on the other hand, have had 19. Might be a little nervous out of the gate.
Orem gets that away. Then Brown attacks and gets the 15-yard, no yards, and spins across midfield once again. And it's been a short field for Travis Lulay and the Lions, and Paul LaPolice has to get that changed.
No yards. Winnipeg number 22. That penalty's declined. The gain is greater. First down, BC.
You know, in games like this, it's often someone that you don't expect. It's maybe not a G. Simon or a Chris Garrett if you're Paul LaPolice. Right now for the Lions, it's been Tim Brown on returns. The opening kickoff, a 34-yarder. He had 55 yards in his first 2, and he gets that ball across center field again for the BC Lions. Right now, he's the unsung hero. 4th time in a row the Lions have started in Winnipeg territory.
Newcomer Daryl Pasco was in no yards territory. Here's Lulay. And that pass incomplete as Alex Suber was in coverage against Sean Gore. One of the good young Canadian receivers on this BC Lions offense.
And what about one of the bright young stars in Travis Lulay, who has emerged this year to become one of those stars in the CFL. Just 33 games of experience, 1-1 in the playoffs, his first Grey Cup. And, you know, throughout that process, he's had a couple of games that have really kick-started his career, and they're against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. Lulay steps up and throws high. Over top the intended target, Arlen Bruce. So Winnipeg's defense starts to dig in.
Well, and Lulay a little high on that throw as he's got to settle down as well. When you think back to last year, Chris, and Travis Lulay, when KC Printers struggled and the wheels came off this team, Wally Buono handed the keys to the offense that day. It was October 11th, 2010 to Lulay. This year, after starting 0-5, the Lions beat Saskatchewan, then lost here to Winnipeg at home. Lulay was benched in that game. He said he learned a lot from watching from the sideline, and they went on to win 11 of their final 12. He's just got to settle down in the big championship game.
Short kick by McCallum this time, scooped up by Javon Johnson. It's just a 27-yard punt. Welcome back to Vancouver. Let's go back to the sidelines here again. Sarah Orlesky.
Chris, the Bombers have dedicated this season to Richard Harris, their defensive line and assistant head coach, who passed away suddenly 4 months ago. Harris was so much more than just a coach to this team. He was a mentor, a friend, and perhaps most importantly, a father figure to players on this team, and he is still everywhere around here. There is a mural of him outside the Bombers locker room here in BC. Pictures of him are taped to players' locker room, and Doug Brown, who is particularly close with, tells me he keeps Harris's playing card with him in his wallet at all times. Harris's widow, Tammy, is here to watch the game, and the Bombers organization say that should they win, they will find a way to honor Harris's memory in his important role with this organization.
And Pierce up top looking for Greg Carr, who brought it down, but out of bounds, incomplete.
It's been a very emotional season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are playing this game to try and honor the memory of Richard Harris, and will win or lose. Doug Brown very close to him. They have not touched Richard Harris' office back in Winnipeg.
These two teams met in the first game after Richard Harris's death, and there was no more emotion charged game this year than that one. 2nd and 10, blitz picked up. Buck Pierce on a roll, and Hargraves, the BC product, has the catch, but he's short of the first down, stepping out at the 36. And the Bombers still looking for traction on offense in this first half.
On the way they may get it offensively is to get Buck Pierce out on the edge and get him running. A combination in the Eastern final of Chris Garrett in the middle with his 190 yards and Buck Pierce on the edge. He had 66 on 9 carries. Key component to the run game against Hamilton. And yes, that was an outdoor game, but if he can break down this defense a little bit with his legs, it will help this offense get started.
4 consecutive 2-and-outs by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Bourne's boot end over end. And Tim Brown with Bourne coming down, and the flag flies, but this one may have to be picked up because Jamie Bourne is eligible to go after that football. Lions with the lead and the football when we come back to the 99th Grey Cup. Back to the sidelines and more analysis from Dwayne Ford.
Thanks, Chris. And we've already seen now Geroy Simon on cue after I said he hadn't caught a ball, catch a bomb in which the Lions were able to isolate him in one-on-one coverage with the safety in the middle of the field. It's not always that way. We've talked about the balance between Simon and Arlen Bruce on the other side. How that's going to balance the defense. Not the case from the Bombers' perspective. Cheating the safety to the side that Geroy Simon's on. Logan's over the top. You see the heavy underneath coverage. They're very committed to try and take Geroy Simon away from this game. They'll leave Alex Suber one-on-one against Arlen Bruce, a guy who he covered well in the opening week of the season when Bruce was a Hamilton Tiger Cat.
Interesting where Arlen Bruce now will either get that matchup or he'll have to face Jonathan Hepney, one of the great cover guys in the entire Canadian Football League.
Bruce and Simon, both former Bombers. Here's the direct snap to Harris. Clint Kent in the backfield, and Harris throws it away to avoid a loss. Not sure if that was part of the play.
I don't think it was, because I didn't see an eligible receiver really down the field on that side. I think that's just a heads-up play by Andrew Harris to save the loss here as Travis Lulay. It's a direct snap. Lulay tries to go with the fake to draw some of the defenders, but when there's no receiver back in the back end there, and Andrew Harris just heads up play and saves a loss.
They might want to put one there. It looked like there was some open field up there. Well, a heads up play by the 24-year-old who has a touchdown in this game. And instead of 2nd and 15, it's 2nd and 10. And Sean Gore broken up. There's Javon Johnson on the scene defensively. And again, this Bomber defense starts to stiffen.
And once again, on 2nd down, you see what Dwayne Ford was talking about. And Ian Logan, the safety, who is going to go with Geroy Simon. There's Simon there, so he's going to go in that direction. Again, that could set up opportunities on the backside for Arlen Bruce, who's going to get the one-on-one. That time, it was on Alex Suber.
Let go.
7 2-and-outs in the game so far. Javon Johnson trying to get outside. He does. And finally, decent field position. No flags on the play. And Javon Johnson taken out at the Lion bench where there's a little extra activity.
He had an 8.9-yard punt return average during the regular season. His long on the year, 51 yards. 24 for Javon Johnson, and that's key. 24 yards. It finally gives the Bombers some field position.
Well, he was the outstanding player nominee out of Winnipeg, their top defensive player, their top special team player. He does it all, and he's just given Winnipeg its best field position so far.
And Chris, when the Bombers have looked in the passing game for a big play, they've looked for Terrence Edwards. He's been quiet so far.
The only receiver with Grey Cup experience, but here's Garrett off the left side, and they haven't been able to establish him so far. Eric Taylor on the stop. Brent Johnson there.
Brent Johnson getting his turn in the rotation. 89 career sacks for Brent Johnson, who is contemplating retirement at the end of this season. 3-time All-Canadian.
Twice the outstanding Canadian player in the league, the best defensive player. Last year, the Lions won the Grey Cup. Second and 8. Pierce stands in through the traffic. He was looking for Edwards, who was well covered.
Anton McKenzie and Anthony Reddick double covered on Terrence Edwards. Buck Pierce locked in there. Very nearly threw his second interception of this game. Had he thrown that on target, Anthony Reddick had a better shot at it than Terrence Edwards.
Well, we expected defense when these two teams met in the regular season. Out of 72 offensive possessions, 40 were 2-and-outs. And we've had 8 in this first half. Tim Brown stacked up.
Chris, it's been a surreal 7 days for the BC Lions. Last Sunday, they win the Western Final to advance to the Grey Cup. And on Monday, they had to go to the funeral of Dylan Richelt. He is the 18-year-old son of longtime BC Lions trainer Bill Richelt. He passed away in a car accident. Dylan and his twin brother Jesse pretty much grew up on the BC Lions sideline as water boys. Jesse is here today. And after the last Lions game, they presented both with the game ball. It was a very emotional moment. The players have said if they can do anything possible to put a smile on Bill and Jesse's face, they'll do that. Bill is the longest-serving member of the BC Lions organization, a real fabric for this franchise.
Absolutely a fixture on that BC Lions sideline. Sean Gore is twisted down after short gain.
34 years on the sideline for Billy Richelt and G. Simon after the West Final. And his touchdown, the first touchdown for the Lions, gave Billy Richelt the game ball. He put his son Dylan's name on it and then presented it to Billy Richelt and the family after the game. G. Simon played a lot of golf with Dylan.
He mentioned the other day he didn't intend to give the ball right away to Bill, but when he saw him there, he knew that was the only thing he could do. Here's Travis Lulay trying to run for a first down. And he'll get stopped up. It's like a yard or so short.
That's a way to have Travis Lulay settle down a little bit. We've seen a couple of high throws in that first quarter from Travis Lulay, something we didn't see in the Western Final against the Edmonton Eskimos. But one way those both quarterbacks, he and Buck Pierce, can settle down in their first championship game is to run the ball a little bit.
He ran it a bit last week with the 61-yard touchdown. Longest touchdown run by a quarterback this year, and when I mentioned to him that eclipsed the long runs by Buck Pierce, although they are good buddies, that sounded good to him, that little competitive fire between the two.
Of course, he and Buck Pierce on the same roster here with the BC Lions in 09 and 2010.
Buck had a memorable 48-yard touchdown run against Edmonton. Jumbo team comes on. Looked like a little confusion there as they check into the huddle, and Jarius Jackson is the man who operates short yardage for BC. Third and less than a yard. Jackson tries the right side. He's got it. Didn't open up right away, but he makes it with ease. Well, we talked about the two quarterbacks, similar in style, former teammates, and Travis Lulay does feel a bond with Buck Pierce.
We're similar in a lot of ways. I think that's why Buck and I clicked when I got up here. We're West Coast guys. We went to relatively smaller schools. We didn't play in the Pac-10 or the SEC or anything like that. And both of us showed up at free agent camps for the Lions in Portland, Oregon, and and just kind of worked our way up the depth chart from there. So we had similar stories, and I think that's just where we kind of hit it off. Similar play style. And all those things. So, we were very good friends when he was here, and it's very cool.
And a great play here by Paris Jackson, the veteran, who's been out of the lineup for the Lions for most of the year, but making an impact late in the season.
2,000-yard seasons in his career, 08 and 09, and it's all Paris Jackson there winning the jump ball against Dion Beasley right along the rail and keeping his foot in bounds. In fact, he had both.
Paul LaPolice was heated up about that, thought there was a push off by Paris Jackson, who did not have a catch in the Western final. Andrew Harris tries the right side, and Pierre-Luc Labbé, the starting Canadian middle linebacker, has the tackle.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers lost Joe Lovendon early in the year to injury. He got off to a great start. Pierre-Luc Labbé in his second start. And how about that? Number 2 for him, and he's in the middle of that defense in the Grey Cup Championship. Good tackle there on first down to make it a more difficult situation on 2nd and long here for Travis Lulin.
But he watched Jason Pottinger and Shea Embry, Javi Klatt, former Canadian middle linebackers, and now he gets his chance to shine. 6th play of the drive. Here comes pressure. Lulin wants G-Roy. Simon got it! Tight roping, and they're ruling it out at the 14-yard line. 22 yards for G-Roy Simon.
And if the Bombers defensively are going to try and get some help on G-Roy Simon with their safety Ian Logan, then the answer to that is to have Simon run the corner route. And he sold it on Dion Beasley, who is all of a sudden getting picked on a little bit. Back-to-back catches on Beasley. One by Paris Jackson, and now G-Roy Simon.
Brandon Stewart unable to play in this game, a sprained ankle. And so it does look like Dion Beasley's been targeted. Simon's best Grey Cup game already. Big handoff, and here's Sean Gore. And Gore inside the 9, short yardage.
09 and 2010, they were on the same roster in meetings together. We talked about Travis Lulin, and you heard the mutual respect he has with Buck Pierce. Both are great leaders, and as tough as they get. And you're looking at one of the toughest quarterbacks pound for pound in football. Guy with a dislocated elbow last year in Labor Day, an injury that no quarterback has come back from in any league, and he came back from it to lead his team to the championship.
8th play of a drive that started at the BC 28, 2nd and 5. Lulin into the end zone. Arlen Bruce is out there, knocked down by Javon Johnson. What a battle there.
You have to have confidence to, as a defensive back, cut underneath the likes of Arlen Bruce. And Javon Johnson has that kind of confidence. If Arlen Bruce fades a little deeper, then Lulin can throw it up over the head of Javon Johnson. But Johnson has that great confidence, works to the football, and just tips it away, and Arlen Bruce just has a whole bunch of helmet.
Injured Bomber defensive tackle, that's Brian Turner. Like he got poked in the eye, and he gets some help to the sidelines. Paul McCallum back out, 94.3% efficient this year in the regular season. Best ever in the Canadian Football League. Doesn't miss those. And it's now a 2-touchdown lead for Wally Buono's Lions.
But again, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do not have to panic just yet, Chris, because if you remember last week, I know it was a game where the elements were a factor. An outdoor game in the last in Canada Stadium, but was all Chris Garrett. Getting some space in the open field. Great cutback slashing runner. And that combined with 66 run yards from Buck Pierce was the key to victory and the reason that they're here. Chris Garrett just 3 carries for 1 yard so far. Now give some credit to that BC defense that looks like right now is talking Paul LaPolice out of running the ball to Chris Garrett. But it has to happen in combination. Garrett in the middle between the tackles. Buck Pierce out and around the edge.
Chris Garrett had 8 runs of 10 yards or more last week. 271 rushing yards for the Bombers last week. Opting to accept the McCallum kickoff. And it's Beasley. And he'll get across the 35 and a little bit more. And pushed out beyond the 45-yard line.
By the way, Chris Garrett, in the last 6 games of the regular season, has accounted for 37% of the Bomber offense.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. BC number 45. 15-yard penalty enforced from the end of the play. First down, Winnipeg.
So that's Jason Araki, the special teams captain, who draws the flag.
The push out of bounds. Dion Beasley was already on the other side of the white stripe. Really nothing to that, but except for the fact that he was out of bounds. That's why the flag came out. This is now the best field position the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have had in this game.
Bombers start at the Lions 50. Still stuck on 1 first down. The misdirection and over the top. It's Terrence Edwards with a catch at the 25. Edwards, who lost in a Grey Cup game against the Lions in 06, along with his brother Robert, as a member of the Montreal Alouettes.
Play action, and Terrence Edwards is going to get in the hole, in behind the linebacking core, but in front of the safety, J.R. LaRose. And Buck Pierce has to throw him back to the football, or LaRose can get involved in the play.
Initial first down since the first possession of the game for Winnipeg. Flag down, and they stopped play, and Pierce took a hit as Corey Banks was coming on the blitz.
Illegal procedure. Winnipeg, the left guard moved prior to the ball being snapped. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's the Weyburn product and all CFL left guard, Brendan Labatt. So first and 15. Short drop, quick hit, and Terrence Edwards has the catch in front of Anton McKenzie. 7 for Edwards. It will be 2nd and 8. Three minutes left, first half, and they are giving the 3-minute warning to the benches.
And there our producer, John Hines on the left, our director, Paul Hemming, in the truck. Done a tremendous job all season long.
2nd down and 8. Buck Pierce looking for Carr in the end zone, but overthrown as Carr battles with Dante Marsh.
Well, it's a matchup I'm not surprised that Buck Pierce went to, because Greg Carr from Florida State at 6'6" has the tremendous height advantage on Dante Marsh at just 5'10". And at Florida State, he was Mr. Touchdown in his 4 years with 29 touchdowns, many on the fade route. Buck Pierce just missed him there.
But working against an 8-year veteran who some quarterbacks in the league, including Darian Durant, say is the best on that corner. So Justin Polardi surveys the 30-yard field goal, and it's off the post and in. The Bombers needed a break, and they get one here to get on the scoreboard.
Well, you got to feel that they absolutely had to get some points out of this field position. With the way the field position the battle has gone in this game, in this first half, it's been 90% BC Lions. So that is a good lucky bounce for the Bombers right there to bank that one in. Get some valuable points heading in at halftime here. But
and if that banks out or wide,
it's dead.
It's just a dead ball, but it can bounce in for the 3 points, and everybody will take that on the Winnipeg sideline.
You know, a Winnipeg Blue Bomber team that a year ago won just 4 games, the worst record in the Canadian Football League, to come back, win 10, win the division. This team under Paul LaPolice and Buck Pierce have faced adversity before, both on and off the field this season. This game is far from over. And those 3 points crucial. Because of field position, you just don't know how many opportunities you will get. You have to come away with points every time.
Tim Brown's going to factor in this opening half. A line drive kick, and here comes Brown. Brown across the 35. Upended around the 37-yard line. So BC has 2.5 minutes to work with.
He's playing in his last game, Chris, the Canadian Football League. Tremendous 11-year career, 7-time All-Canadian. You think about defensive tackles, only John Helton with more All-Canadian nods. And Doug Brown will be an automatic induction into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Playing in his 200th Canadian Football League game here today, and on this field won a high school championship as a member of the Port Moody Blues. There's Lule looking for Bruce on the corner, and there's Alex Suber to break it up.
And Alex Suber does the Arlen Bruce touchdown pose, standing over number 1.
Little Spider-Man.
Alex Suber is size-wise closer to a jockey than he is to a football player, but boy, does he come and bring the leather. And there's the pose that Arlen Bruce does in the end zone.
Now you got to have swagger to do that.
You do. And that's Bomber football. That's how they have been successful this year, with great defense.
And his defense has been much tougher in the second quarter. Lule going to air it out, though, and he may have Sean Gore through his fingertips, incomplete. Boy, that might have been a early knockout blow for Travis Lule.
He had Sean Gore. Sean Gore, 3-receiver side into the short side of the field with Arlen Bruce. And he's going to end up getting one-on-one on Javon Johnson, who thought he was going to jump Arlen Bruce underneath. That's why Sean Gore is wide open. But he started looking back to the ball and slowed down at the top end of that route.
Brought it to Bishops with a missed opportunity there. And now the Bombers are going to get the ball back with some time to cut into this lead. Good downfield cover there by the BC special teams that really struggled early this year, but Adam Bighill and Jason Araki changed that in the late part of the season.
Buck Pierce got a little offense going on that last series, leading on 50% of his passes so far, just 53 yards, but that throw and play action to Terrence Edwards had a little bit of offense. Looks like at this point the BC Lions have talked Winnipeg out of Chris Garrett.
Garrett lining up as a wideout. They empty it out. 6 receivers, pump. And they try to go to Carr again, working against Dante Marsh, and Carr brings it down.
Deliberate throw behind, and Buck Pierce, before he snapped the football, before he got the football from the snap, he knew what coverage the BC Lions were going to go with. That's because out on the outside, Anton McKenzie is locked up on Chris Garrett, the running back. So Carr is going to go deep in a one-on-one. Buck Pierce, he knows he's got the matchup he wants, and the 6'6" Greg Carr on the shorter Dante Marsh, and he goes with the automatic throw behind.
27-yard pickup and a first down at the 51. Back inside. Garrett straight ahead into Lyman territory at the 51. Elamimian with the tackle.
Good down block by Abi Khan, the center, to give Chris Garrett just a little bit of a crease, and Solomon Elamimian's forced to tackle him after picking up good yardage on first down. A much more manageable situation here for Buck Pierce. Watch the down block by Abi Khan.
Elamimian with 98 tackles, and he missed a pair of games. 2nd and 3. Fake and a completion to Carr, and that should be first down for Winnipeg as Carr and Elamimian exchange blows.
Well, Elamimian threw a punch, it looked like, and I don't see a penalty flag.
Looked like they were trying to reenact Mosca cap. And no flags, which surprised me, and it's still going on.
Let's take a look here. Greg Carr is down. It's twisted a little bit by Solomon Elamimian. Now he gives him a little push there. Okay, now that they're going to let go. That one is the one I'm surprised. Now maybe it's just because Solomon Elamimian kind of hung on to the face mask, but it's usually that retaliation, that third one, that's going to get you the penalty flag, but I don't see one. No flags on the play.
Letting him play.
I'm surprised at that, Chris. I really am. The third one from Elamimian should have drawn the flag.
It is a first down for Winnipeg. Minute 19 on the clock. And the Lions defense trying to amp up the crowd. 4 receivers wide side, Buckland's backside, and Corey Watson away to the races. Corey Watson down inside the 25.
What a play call by Paul LaPolice, the head coach, co-offensive coordinator with Jamie Barise on that sideline. Perfect timing on first down to go with the screen. No receiver outside of Corey Watson here. It's going to look like he's going to block on Brent Johnson. Then he gets out with an escort, including All-Canadian Brendan Labatt.
Down to the 23, a 24-yard pickup by Watson. And the Lions are going to call a timeout.
Timeout, BC.
Mike Benavides, not a bad decision here. It looked like that, first of all, a tremendous play call by Paul LaPolice. Caught his defense on that last play. They went back and kind of walked back to the huddle, almost like they were reeling a little bit from being surprised there. Mike Benavides will then call the timeout, get them regrouped, make sure they have the right personnel grouping, and this is good timing by Mike Benavides.
He said his philosophy on defense pretty simple: take away their most dangerous weapon. They've taken away Garrett. You've seen that extra coverage on Terrence Edwards. But Paul LaPolice now in the chess match, trying to go to other people like Corey Watson. First and 10. Short drop over the middle, and here's Carr. Broke a tackle, and then gets taken down hard by Anthony Reddick. But it's another Bomber first down, and it will be first and goal.
And this offense is starting to click, and they've gone, you're right, Chris, to different people. Not Terrence Edwards, not Chris Garrett. They've gone to that matchup with Greg Carr on Dante Marsh on the outside. This time a quick slant. Dante Marsh giving him lots of room, backing up 10, 12 yards. So they go with the quick slant and Corey Watson on that previous screen.
Carr 4 catches, 48 yards. Buck stepping up. Is he going to take off? Now looks into the end zone and throws it away with pressure and good coverage in the corner of the end zone.
Well, and it was Anthony Reddick for the BC Lions that forced that decision by Buck Pierce. You know, Buck Pierce can get the edge there, and now the entire defense is broken down. Buck Pierce has got open space to run, but Anthony Reddick in secondary contain on the running quarterback, cut him outside, got the angle, forced Pierce to throw it out of bounds.
First time in the red zone today. Trying to convert. Second and goal. Pierce looking into the corner. Denmark, and it's broken up. Tad Cornegay on the job for the Lions.
Third straight Grey Cup appearance for Tad Cornegay, of course, a former member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Played in Grey Cups back-to-back years there, and Tad Cornegay shows you that experience with his great composure at the end of the route. Clarence Denmark was open. He was patient, turned to the football. That little jam there is okay. Look at the patience. He read Clarence Denmark's eyes, knew the ball was about to arrive, and got the knockdown.
There's Maloney straight through this time. And the lead now 8, but there is a flag.
Offside. BC number 24. That penalty's declined. Result of the play. Field goal is good.
So instead of 3rd and goal at the 4, they'll take their 3 points. One possession game now. Half-minute left, first half. As the Bombers have a little momentum after a slow start.
After an 0-5 start, the BC Lions faced their own adversity all season long. Beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders, then lost to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. In fact, 0-2 on the season against Winnipeg. But it's been a very different team for Wally Buono since then. They went on an 8-game win streak. The only loss in the last 12 games of the year, that to the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the road. Wally Buono looking 9th Grey Cup appearance.
See how Travis Lule handles a half-minute left. There's Marco Iannucci with the catch. Short gain, and Wally Buono in his 9th Grey Cup. He's 4-4 in the national championship and trying to join some elite company at the top of the coaching win list.
Don Matthews, the only other coach with 9 appearances, and Wally Buono has that now. He's tied that one.
Hugh Campbell with 5 in a row. The professor, Frank Clare, in Ottawa. Inside handoff, and Paul Lapalisse will have to come on. Or does he call it? Paul McCallum will have to come on. Does Paul Lapalisse call timeout? Yes,
Winnipeg.
Chris, always in these games, whether it's the first game of the regular season or the championship game, it often comes down to how you adapt after the first half. And Paul Lapalisse calling the plays along with Jamie Barise on that Bomber sideline. You saw how they changed their game plan a little bit to feature Corey Watson and Greg Carr. Now it's up to Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, to find an answer to that.
So Javon Johnson looks for an opportunity to give the Bombers a chance for late points. Good boot from his 22. Bubbles back. Koshi Moamba couldn't bring him down, but he'll run out of room there with good pursuit by the Lions special teams. And that will do it for the opening half. Could you tell?
You can. If you do enough film work, you can tell. You find those indicators.
1st and 15. They stay double tight end. Lule in some trouble. And now underneath to Rolly Lumbala, the fullback, who gets drilled, drops it out of bounds. It's still Lion football.
Let's take a look at Travis Lule in the first half, Chris, and started the game strong with good field position that first quarter. A couple of high throws in the second, and that Bomber defense started to clamp down on the receivers. No touchdown passes in the first, 146 and 50%. Below his season numbers for sure for Travis Lule against one of the top defenses, not the top defense in the CFL.
Offside. We get a big play that gets called back. That's all right. Next play. Next play. Yeah. Okay. So this will be two split right. 664 private split. Okay, let's go.
A break here because Jonathan Hefney was shaken up. That will cause an adjustment. in the Bombers secondary, and you got a chance to eavesdrop on Jacques Chapdelaine, the offensive coordinator.
Not happy with a couple of execution issues on the previous 2 plays.
So Johnny Sears checks in Hefty's spot. They didn't mention it, but you wonder if they'll attack Sears. 2nd and 9. And that one over the head to Paris Jackson. And this Lions offense continues to struggle.
Well, that's the 3rd throw, I think, in this game for Travis Lulay that it's just high. He's got time. He has no one in his face here. And Lulay in his first Grey Cup is showing maybe a little bit of nerves as he had that extra long halftime. Throws off his back foot, falling away, and this time that ball just sails on a wide open Paris Jackson. And lucky that wasn't intercepted. Javon Johnson close by.
McCallum a little slip there and had to rush it. Couple of hops on the turn. Now Javon Johnson's got it. He'll get the 5 yards, no yards, but he might get a lot more. Oh, McCallum can't bring him down. And finally, Javon Johnson taken down by Rolly Lumbala. There is a flag. It's likely just the no yards and great field position. Best field position start of the game for Winnipeg. At the Lion 30-yard line. Briand in for blocking. Trouble with the shotgun snap. And Buck Pierce and Rubin. And brought down at the 25. Gets a chaotic 5 yards on the play.
Paul Lapalese said there are times when no matter what play you call, the execution of that play will break down. That's the human element. And the great athletes, the great players, the leaders will find a way to make something happen when they break down. Bit of a hot snap. Buck Pierce has trouble handling that, but look at him pick up good yardage on 1st down on his own.
Nick DeGarrett looks inside, and the ball is tipped by Anton McKenzie, who had an interception in the first half. See some blood on the jersey of Buck Pierce. And again, the field goal unit has to come on.
Anton McKenzie has done a lot of film work for this game himself. You can tell by the way he's positioning himself in that underneath coverage. Sometimes he's dropping back, getting underneath that deep crossing route. Sometimes there he's underneath that quick slant in perfect position, taking away the throwing lane. He tips that up, and that was almost a BC Lion interception.
Wally Bono has said he could play safety. We saw him play defensive end. That's how versatile he is. Pilardi nails this. And the Bombers now within 5.
Chris, the Bombers' defense, their high-risk, high-reward style has been at the heart of this team's successful turnaround after a 4-14 season last year. They are keeping them in the game again today. The architect of the defense, Tim Burke, who's looking to do the incredibly rare feat of winning 3 Grey Cup championships in a row, having won the last 2 as defensive coordinator of the Montreal Alouettes. He told me his ideal CFL defense is built around the pass rush and pass coverage, something that they've been able to execute well this season. Doug Brown may have had the best line about Burke, though. He said he has a resume of success forged in championship steel.
Made an impact, as you mentioned, in the last few Grey Cups, especially last year. I think he surprised a lot of people by converting to a zone defense against Saskatchewan when the Alouettes were almost the entire year a man-to-man team.
Well, and there is a job open in the head coaching position in Saskatchewan, and you know that I'm sure that Tim Burke will be one of the many candidates that will be interviewed. And you take a look at this Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense. It has been dominant. And if you're a Bomber fan right now in this championship game, a one-possession game, the more this game goes on, the Lions at home, the better it plays into the Bombers' hands. This is their formula for success, has been all year.
Over the middle, looking for Simon. Got him at midfield. G-Roy side of the catch in front of Alex Suber.
Well, and this time, Ian Logan was just a little bit deep to help out Alex Suber on that quick slant route. Coming out of the backfield, just a quick slant over the middle. And the ball this time brought down a little bit, although G-Roy Simon does have to go up over his head to pull it down.
Lions had 108 yards in the first quarter since they produced 96, counting that 12-yard grab by G-Roy Simon. Jonathan Hefney back in this Bomber defense. Lule play action. Back into the middle, and Sean Gore is tossed down. Close to another first down at the Winnipeg 45.
3 options for Travis Lule on this play. He's going to half roll, and this is taking advantage of the athleticism from Travis Lule. You're going to get one option out here. That's going to be Arlan Bruce. You get Sean Gore coming from the right to the left on a little curl route. That's 2. If you hold it there, guys, stop it there. 1, 2. And the third option is for Travis Lule to go ahead and run with the football. Boy, that puts a bind on a defense.
Second first down in the last 5 drives, and now Andrew Harris tries the right side. He has the lone touchdown in the game and dropped at the 41 after a short gain.
Here's Matt Dunnigan talking at halftime about what the Bombers need to do and the players that they need to see some more production out of, and Odell Willis on that defensive line is one of them. Very vocal all week, both in the media and on Twitter, and has been real quiet all of a sudden in this game.
Second and 7 from the 41. Here comes the heat. Lule stands in, and the pass incomplete. G-Roy Simon looking for a flag, not on the field. Alex Suber there in coverage.
This has been a great battle to watch. Dwayne Ford mentioned it in the first quarter. He's watching G-Roy Simon. They tried to double him a little bit with Ian Logan. But when Alex Suber has had to go one-on-one, watch him fight to get inside position. That's the key to the coverage at the top of the route for Alex Suber. You have to fight for the inside. He got a little bit of contact in there, but no penalty flag. And Paul McCallum will have to come out.
48-yarder for McCallum. Missed only 3 this year, and 1 was really a no-hoper from 57 out on a final play. And McCallum off the post, and that's a dead ball. So a rare miss. And McCallum and Suber discuss it. Still a 5-point Lion lead. Trail, but they've got a little momentum and maybe some breaks going their way now after the miss by McCallum. Garrett inside, and he'll pound to the 30.
He hit 30 straight field goals, a CFL record during the regular season, had the best percentage in the regular season and in fact in the league's history, and this time put it right square into the goalpost. The other end, Justin Pillardi in that first half, remember his, that bounced off the goalpost and went in. Inches.
Did he call that?
I'm going to call your bank shots.
Second and 5. Look into Edwards. Terrence Edwards going to be stopped short of the first down. There's Anton McKenzie in the middle of it again. Had to get beyond the 35, and now Paul Lapalisse is down there to survey.
Big. Measurement. We get a measurement.
Paul Lapalisse, as you heard, wants a measurement for a couple of reasons. Wants to know exactly how far he's got to go. Also buys him some time here to make a decision on a play call if he wants. Now it looks like they're sending out the punt team. It's got to be a yard or less.
And he always goes under a yard, but this is just a little outside the 1 yard.
And Chris, it's got to be a yard or less as well for the officials to bring the chains out. So he's not even going to get that measurement. And a difference maker so far for the Lions, and the reason they're ahead, the guy who's getting ready to return this kick, and Tim Brown.
So punting on 3rd and a yard and a half. Forum, another short kick. Tim Brown is brought down quickly. Let's go to the sidelines. Here again is Sarah.
Quick injury update for you. In the first half, we saw Brian Turner, Bombers defensive tackle, have to leave the game. Well, his left eye is swollen shut. He said that he got a finger in the eye. He also has a small cut underneath the eye that may require stitches afterwards, but it is heavily bandaged up right now, so don't look for him to return in this game.
One of the difference makers at defensive tackle for the Bombers. So down to a 5-man rotation there for Winnipeg. Double tight ends for the Lions as they start at their 53. That widens things. Lulay jolted, and a big catch there by Arlen Bruce.
It was Odell Willis on the stunt that got to Travis Lulay. That's the reason he's slow to get up. Boy, he took a hard hit there. He paid the price all right. Full retail on this. Watch Odell Willis get home, and Travis Lulay hang in there for that extra second. Inside move and right in the chest. At the other end, Arlen Bruce takes a hit as well, and he fights this one off and hangs on.
15 yards, his first catch of the game. Arlen Bruce, who played in his first Grey Cup in 2001 as a member of the Bombers. Upset that day by Wally Guano and the Calgary Stampeders. Bruce has got a short pass, and look at him drive for a first down, working against Clint Kent.
That last play, Chris, Odell Willis made an inside move. He's got to be starting to get frustrated on that D-line. Ben Archibald is locking him down pretty well throughout this game, but there's lots of football to be played, and now it looks like Odell Willis starting to get a game plan. On that last play, Ben Archibald's going to keep Odell Willis wide as they play action and go the opposite direction. We'll see what happens as this matchup continues.
Top offensive lineman last year, Ben Archibald. 12 on that last catch by Bruce. First down. Here comes Heat again. Lulay steps up. Odell Willis tracks him by the horse collar.
Yeah.
And you can see the flags fly everywhere.
That's a horse collar tackle. And whether you grab the shoulder pads or the top of the jersey and pull from behind, you're going to get called. Odell Willis, it was great second effort. And then he just...
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle, Winnipeg number 40, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That same matchup we just talked about, Ben Archibald on Odell Willis. Here he is coming off the edge in that three-point stance. Ben Archibald has him at the beginning, tries to make that inside move, and he'll pass him off. Now that great hustle, but anytime the ball carrier goes backwards, whether it's the shoulder pads or the jersey, you're going to get called on the horse collar.
Back to the league lead in sacks with 13, but has not had one since October 7th, Odell Willis. First down. Lulay into the corner. Andrew Harris, incomplete. Couldn't get a foot in.
Andrew Harris has proven he's been a great receiver at the running back position out of the backfield. But this is the difference between a receiver and a running back, to know exactly where you are on the field. And that left foot on the white stripe as he caught the football. That's a great call by the official. He's out of bounds.
Right call is made, a missed opportunity. Harris, who has the lone touchdown and has scored 8 in this building since it reopened on September 30th. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Back into the end zone and over the head of the intended target as G-Roy Simon was jostling with Jonathan Hefney.
I can't believe Travis Lulay got up there. He got hammered. I believe Odell Willis again, but the Bombers are going to send some pressure here as well. 6-man pressure. Merrill Johnson up there from the linebacking core. That's a couple of big hits that Travis Lulay took in that series.
So in their last 3 visits to the red zone, Lions settling for field goal attempts. McCallum from 22. He's good, and it's an 8-point BC lead.
The last team to win a Grey Cup championship at home in front of their home crowd was the 1994 BC Lions. But this is the Bomber formula. Good defense, stay within a possession, get to the fourth quarter, and get the 1 or 2 big plays out of your offense. That's been the staple for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers all season long. Paul LaPolice has got to feel comfortable where he is right now. Even though he's behind, this has been their calling card all year.
You're right. Been 5th in points and yards during the season, but number 1 in big plays. And over the backfield, Pombriand unable to catch the ball. The fullback added mid-season, a Laval product who was out of football for 3 years and then was spotted playing for Team Canada in the World Championship and got recommended to the Bombers organization.
Coming out of the backfield, just spins out of there on Solomon Elimimian. Has a chance for about a 5-yard gain on first down, and he just fights the football there.
There we go. Quickly, incomplete from behind Corey Watson as the blitz was coming. And Buck Pierce felt it. So 3 2-and-outs in a row as Brian Turner continues to get attention for that injured eye.
And it doesn't look like we will see him back at all in this game. They do have Jason Vega in the lineup and Rodney Fritz, who had the Big East final.
Well, Jamie Borum has struggled today. And Tim Brown awaits, trying to provide good field position for the Lions. Better kick. Brown back at his 31. Bounced off first contact and then gets wrestled down by Daryl Pascoe.
Boy, that last series, Travis Lulay took some big hits. It looks like Odell Willis is getting a little frustrated and turning it up a little bit of a notch. He's been there a couple of times. Not on that play. That was Clint Kent. But he's had a couple. There's Jason Vega. Vega again off the edge. And that last series a couple times. And there's Odell Willis, who's been basically shut down in the first half by Ben Archibald. But since then, Travis Lulay has taken 9 hits, 9 hurries. That's what this formula has been. That's Bomber defense.
Lions started just inside their 40. Good pitch. And Tim Brown upended. There's Clint Kent again. Javon Johnson telling us that Clint Kent's the man who runs the film meetings on defense for the Bombers.
Big tackle there. Ben Archibald in the first half. Let me show you what he did to Odell Willis. It was a great matchup in the first half, won by the veteran left tackle. Kept Odell Willis high and wide, allowing Travis Lulay to step up in the pocket. If he tried that inside move, he cut him down. He kept him wide and outside again, and then opened up the run lane on Odell Willis. In the second half, Odell Willis trying to make a little bit of noise here.
And Willis jumps.
Yes, he did.
Play called as he broke the plane of the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, it would have been a free play for Travis Lulay, who used one last week.
Offside. Winnipeg number 40, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Boy, I wonder if Tim Burke had a conversation with Odell Willis after his week of tweets and what he'd been saying. If after that first half he went over and said, look, Ben Archibald has your number. I want to see a better second half out of you, just like Matt Dunnigan said at halftime. And now he's been fired up. That time he jumped offside.
2nd and 5. Lulay unloads. He's got Kieran Johnson wide open. And he's into the end zone. It's the Lions with the big play. 66 yards.
Plenty of time to throw for Travis Lulay. He's taken some hits. We counted 9, but he gets the protection he needs to go deep, and you need a couple extra steamboats here. He gets it, puts it up over the top to Kier Johnson. Jonathan Hefney hurt in the first half. He missed a couple of plays. Not sure what the injury is at this point. He's trying to gut it out, but he gets in behind Jonathan Hefney there.
First CFL touchdown. There's a souvenir he'll keep. McCallum, the extra point. And Andrew Harris run for a touchdown in the first quarter, and then Winnipeg's defense got stingy until that big 66-yarder to Kier Johnson.
Wally Buono loves his speed. He showed it there.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
Well, that 66-yard play enhances the stats and the Lion lead through three quarters.
For that beginning of that quarter, Chris, you saw the Bombers sort of playing their style of football, playing some great defense, and that last play, Kier Johnson gets in behind Jonathan Hefney. And now we're seeing a little bit of what the Lions have done in the back half of the year. A team that's averaged 35.6 points per game in their games here at BC Place since they moved back.
We were anticipating that sooner or later we'd see the big play from Winnipeg. Now we need to see a big play from Winnipeg. Kier Johnson celebrates his first touchdown in the Canadian Football League, and that is the first touchdown pass thrown by Lulay against the Bomber defense this year. Beyond Beasley. Oh, he's nailed. Big hit. Rolly. Lumbala unloads.
Let's go back to that touchdown and show you how the matchup was created. Kier Johnson is normally a wide receiver, and he's on Jonathan Hefney, but the Lions are going to go with waggle motion down here. They put Sean Gore out at wideout. Now he's on Javon Johnson. Watch Gore come down, and out of the backfield comes Kier Johnson. Now he gets the matchup on Hefney, who is way on the outside shoulder, and gives that inside post lane or seam lane to Kier Johnson. He's a chase from the get-go.
Here comes Garrett around the edge, and Dante Marsh meets him and brings him down at the 40, but that's a first down play.
Jonathan Hefney's usually covering from inside, but see with Kier Johnson, he's way on the outside shoulder. He's opening up the inside lane. Now you can do that if you have safety help from Ian Logan over the top, but Ian Logan's nowhere to be seen, and that's where Hefney gets in trouble. He's in a chase from the outside in. Kier Johnson breaks that tackle, has the Lions touchdown.
Into the hands of Garrett. Brent Johnson will wrestle him down at the 45. 5 more for Garrett. Said his goal was to be the MVP in this game.
Well, that Kier Johnson gets the crowd back in it. That touchdown. This is good play calling from Paul LaPolice. Try and slow things down. Try and get a couple of first downs along the ground. Grind it out a little bit. Take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of this crowd right now. That's going to be important here.
Got to convert. 2nd and 5. Here's some trouble. And down he goes. And there is Khalif Mitchell. All CFL defensive tackle.
He is just a beast. And he's working on Steve Morley. And it doesn't seem to matter who he plays against this season. He has been impossible to stop. Look at the great hands. Push and collapse the pocket while he's got one hand up, closing down the passing lane on Buck Pierce. He continues to collapse the pocket and gets there.
When January shaken up. Angus Reid was saying the other day that Khalif Mitchell's like that guy you had in public school in grade 8 with the beard, who looks like he's 4 years older and that much stronger than everybody else in school. A dominant player who the Lion offensive linemen get tired of practicing against. They say they look forward to watching him take it out on the other team.
And in his spare time, plays classical piano.
Who'd have thought?
Self-taught, by the way, and is good.
Let me know when we on. You on right now? Look, red light. Go to tell us something.
You're on, Khalif.
Let me know when we on.
It's my turn to shine.
That's what we do.
It's my turn to shine.
That's what we do. I think it's a game. One play at a time. That's how we gonna do.
And they've been doing it all year long. 30 sacks in their last 10 games. Winnipeg led the league with 55, but the Lions had 54 and had some momentum coming into the playoffs.
And it looks to me like Khalif Mitchell's just getting started.
Borum has to kick it away. Good boot. Tim Brown back inside his 25. And James Green is on the scene with the special teams tackle. Love the chess match.
Absolutely. That's Mike Benavides at his best.
Lions going for a knockout drive. Oh! Odell Willis, and he dropped the ball. Oh, it's a possible game-changing play, but Odell Willis couldn't hold on.
It looked like he started to run before he had possession, just juggling it a little bit. Odell Willis is going to go up the field, locked up on Ben Archibald. A matchup we've been watching in this second half. Travis Lulay never sees him. He was hidden behind Archibald. But Odell Willis tried to run before he had possession of the football and had locked it down and loses the handle. If he catches that, he scores.
2nd and 10. Lulay over the middle. Arlen Bruce, they say incomplete. Bruce thought he had the catch, but it looked like it skipped into his hands.
Now let's take a look at this one.
Yeah, we may get a challenge because Bruce is convinced he made the play. And from this vantage point, I thought he did too. But the official is right on the scene. And here comes the challenge flag.
Well, Arlen Bruce was able to talk Wally Buono into throwing the challenge. Let's just take a look. He could get his elbow down. Tough to tell from that angle if it bounced up to him.
Official's in a pretty good spot.
is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. The play will be reviewed.
Looks like the veteran receiver with those strong hands you talked about.
Boy, are they ever. It is. I think he made that catch. He did get those hands underneath the football. You saw some air right underneath it.
You know, Arlen Bruce has a reputation, and before Wally Buono acquired him, he needed a reference, and he called his good buddy Dave Ritchie, who had coached Arlen Bruce in Winnipeg. And Dave, who's recovering from back surgery, watching in the States, I'm sure, said Arlen Bruce is a guy you want on your team. And he has helped turn this club around.
Chris, we've done a lot of games, and when the rumors of Arlen Bruce and him being an issue in the locker room came up, I started asking all of his teammates, and I couldn't find one that would say a bad word about Arlen Bruce. This is a guy who, one of the first guys to show up at practice, one of the hardest working guys. I mean, talk to the BC Lion coaching staff.
After review, it was a completed pass. The ball was caught at the 43-yard line. It will be first down BC.
And when I talk to the coaching staff about his work ethic, they said it's unbelievable. They thought Geroy Simon had that great, and he does. And maybe the greatest work ethic along with Milt Stegall in the league's history. But Arlen Bruce comes in, and he works the scout team as hard as he does when it's offensive emphasis in practice.
Third catch of the game for Bruce. A first down. Andrew Harris spins off, and look at Harris up to the 52 before he is tossed down.
That was such a fine line. Odell Willis has a game-changing play in his hands and can't hang on to it. A play later, Arlen Bruce over the middle makes a catch, and all of a sudden the BC Lions are 3 yards from crossing over that center stripe again.
Jason Vega with the tackle on Harris, but he has 9 on the play. It's second short yardage. And you can see Jarius Jackson comes in with the jumbo team. Big Lambala and Harris in behind. Surge off the right side, and Jarius Jackson behind. Dean Valley has the first down.
There was some concern, and then during the week, the most important game these men's careers, that Odell Willis had lost a little bit of his focus. Started talking on Twitter and had the teammates talking about him, and there was some who wondered, would that affect the focus? That's a game-changing play. Javon Johnson was one of them.
Still a 15-point lead. Would have been down to 8. And the momentum that would have gone with the play. There's Lule throwing the out. Simon goes up to get it, and Beasley takes him down quickly. Simon into Bomber territory. Mentioned that Geroy Simon, Arlen Bruce, former Bombers, they missed being together with Milt Stegall by 1 year. Wouldn't have that been something to see those three together in the same offense?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Travis Lule has loved seeing 2/3 of it with Arlen Bruce and Geroy Simon this season, especially in the back half. Arlen Bruce, a big reason for the turnaround in BC.
Second and 4. Lule guns. Arlen Bruce got another. Down to the 25. Super the tackle. But Arlen's on a roll.
They worked the corner route in the first half. There'd be Geroy Simon or Arlen Bruce running that 45-degree angle cut to the sideline. And you can see Alex Suber, who's been in one-on-one a bunch with Bruce throughout this game, play that outside shoulder, playing for that corner route. So what does Arlen Bruce and Jacques Chapdelaine do? They say, well, if you're going to play hard on the outside shoulder, we're going to run that dig route. That's exactly what Bruce runs there.
Travis Lule goes over 300 in the game with that 25-yard completion to Bruce. Andrew Harris behind Dean Valley. And down around the 15-yard line before Pierre-Luc Labbé makes the tackle.
In fairness to Alex Suber, he has seen this route a ton in the first half. So what does Arlen Bruce do? He changes it up. As soon as number 21 will play that outside edge, now he goes to this dig route. And there's nothing that Suber can do with it about it, especially with Ian Logan playing that far off the line of scrimmage. Geroy Simon on that seam route was keeping Ian Logan back there. So the two in tandem, successful on that dig route.
Second and less than a yard. Jarius Jackson in. Short yardage team, but did they get greedy? No. Jackson just goes outside and has got the first down as he turned the corner. The Notre Dame product, the veteran, comes up with another first down for BC.
You have to have confidence in short yardage to be able to do this, because the moment you take the ball laterally or off the line of scrimmage and retreat to find a hole, if there's any type of penetration, it's over. Jarius Jackson's been one of the best at running that short yardage play all year long.
Ninth play of the drive. It's 1st and goal from the 6. Lule looking for a knockout punch. Looks into the end zone. Touchdown, Arlen Bruce. And the man who helped turn the Lions season around might have just sealed the deal.
Odell Willis all he can do is watch. Arlen Bruce in the bunch formation. Again, with an in route, a dig across the middle.
Second Grey Cup touchdown for Bruce. A Grey Cup winner with the Argos in 2004. McCallum, the extra point. 9 plays, 82 yards, and a dagger from the former Bomber. What a drive for Arlen Bruce. Started with that catch that got upheld on the challenge. Winnipeg football at their 35 when we come back.
Do you think the Governor General of Canada from 04 to 11, Lord Earl Grey, when he donated that trophy, knew what he started?
Pierce needs some big plays. Looking for Keto Popla for the first time today, incomplete.
Dion Beasley is going to get locked up on Arlen Bruce here on this touchdown in a bunch formation. There's Bruce, and you're going to see Beasley right up on the line of scrimmage. He ends up getting on him now. He fights to get back outside. That's right when Arlen Bruce cuts underneath. He's got lots of room because there's no safety. And watch at the top of your screen, Ben Archibald on Odell Willis that had the game-changing play in his hands. He washes him down inside to give Lule just enough time to throw.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, it's complete. Paul Watson, first down. Tripped up at the 45-yard line. Remember Ryan Thelwell telling me how energized the bench gets when the Mounties bring the cup in with about 5 or 6 minutes to go.
In that break, with the cup arriving, the BC Lions were dancing to the music. They can taste it, they can feel it.
First down, but Pierce up top looking for Denmark. And it's incomplete. Again, Dante Marsh patrolling that sideline. I'd like to congratulate Scott Ackles and the Grey Cup Festival Committee. A great week here in Vancouver. The colors of the Canadian Football League on display. And everybody has a good time every year at the Grey Cup, and this one wasn't any different. It's what they're chasing, and the Lions are 5 minutes away. 2nd down, a punt, and Pierce is going to get tossed down for Ron Williams.
3-down football for Winnipeg. Paul LaPolice will obviously leave the offense out there. Ron Williams off one end. He flushes Buck Pierce up the middle and then catches him from behind.
So 3rd down, the offense has to stay on, and they have to get 10 yards. Terrence Edwards, first down. And there's still some life in the Bombers.
And they're going to have to push the ball, get the plays called on the line of scrimmage. What a turnaround drive for Travis Lule. After Odell Willis dropped a game-changing interception, he would have scored. That would have made it an 8-point game. Travis Lulay put together a 6-minute drive, 82 yards to the touchdown. Now Buck Pierce is under the gun.
Back-to-back touchdown possessions by BC, and now Pierce airing it out. Jump ball, Greg Carr, he's got it! Touchdown! Carr out-muscling Corey Banks. Still some life left in Winnipeg.
The time clock, their enemy now. But what a play by Greg Carr at the top of the road. And you're right, Chris, it comes down to that matchup that Dwayne Ford talked about, that Paul LaPolice had to show you and had to make those changes as the game went on to go to this matchup. Dante Marsh is in great position, but Carr fights underneath, gets to that football.
It was Marsh he beat. First time the Lions have seen Greg Carr this year. He did not play in the 2 regular season games. Brown Williams took a knee, and he's getting some attention before the point after. But Buck Pierce had told us earlier this year, I can go to Carr anytime because he's got a physical mismatch against anybody covering him.
A building block, 100 yards receiving. Just 25 years old in his second year, so huge upside for Greg Carr out of Florida State. Big play to give the Bombers some life here.
So 3:32 to go. Does Paul LaPolice short kick here?
I don't think so. At 3:32, kick it deep, you get a quick 2 and out. That doesn't take much time, but he needs that from his defense. He may need a short kick before it's over. I think he gets a deep one here before the warning.
For him to boot it away. And Andrew Harris will go down at the 34-yard line. And now Travis Lulay will try and keep the football away from Winnipeg as long as he can. And the Bombers will try to force a 2 and out or something even better than that, the turnover.
And for the Lions, this is where that offensive line has got to come through for you. Over 300 yards passing for Travis Lulay, and it was a tough 320 as well, especially between those second and third quarters. The Bomber defense tightened up, but a couple of big plays in the fourth has opened it up a little bit more for Travis Lulay. But this is where the Lions O-line has really got to get off the football, try and create some space for the running game.
Tim Brown into the game. Short yardage there, maybe a 1 on the play. They give the 3-minute warning to the benches here. Couple of BC touchdowns in the second half. One late one by Winnipeg as they try to get back in it. Prime Minister Stephen Harper watching along with the hero of the '94 Grey Cup, Louis Passaglia. 17 years ago. Here's Doug Brown in pursuit. Lulay goes down. So the Bombers get the 2 and out they need, and they get the ball back here with just over 2.5 minutes left. Javon Johnson. Can he help stoke the comeback? McCallum. And Johnson at his 35. Gets a block. Gets the corner. Across midfield. And Paul McCallum slowed him up. And then flags fly at the end of it. Anton McKenzie, so Javon Johnson keeps Bomber hopes alive with a huge return. 47-yard return and a face mask penalty. And rookie Nick Fitzgibbon with a big block.
Face mask. BC number 4. Half the distance to goal. First down.
So the face mask on McCallum.
Don't go away yet, folks. The wide field return by Javon Johnson. He's got to get to the corner. He's trying to get to the wall. And he gets there with a couple of key blocks down the field. And a face mask at the end, and the Bombers are in the red zone.
There's the 15-yarder. First down on the 14. Buck looks for Terrence Edwards and overthrows him by a step with Corey Banks in coverage.
We talked about positioning by the defensive backs and how an outside position can get you in trouble. Corey Banks knows he can play the outside right here on Terrence Edwards because he's got J.R. LaRose sitting in the middle. So he'll take away that outside corner. That forces Edwards to flatten out a little too sharp, and the ball over and outside, high and wide.
5 receivers to the wide side. Garrett sets up short side. Buck Pierce, quarterback draw, and now nowhere. A big hit. And it's Anton McKenzie, and what a brilliant game he has turned in. One of the more underrated veterans in the Canadian Football League.
You know, but he finished strong, Chris, the regular season. Anton McKenzie had 32 tackles in the last 6 games and a sack. And he's playing the best game of his career in this Grey Cup championship.
On the 3rd down, and it all comes down to this. Terrence Edwards, touchdown! Terrence Edwards for the touchdown. No flag, and from here it looked like he might have been a stride across the line of scrimmage before that snap of the ball. Take another look.
Big-time players make the biggest plays in the biggest games, and this one, it just doesn't get any bigger. What a catch in behind him, and breaks the plane. Terrence Edwards before losing possession of the football.
So a 3rd down conversion.
The previous play is under review,
Which the league does now. The coaches are no longer in control of the reviews. And they'll take a look to make sure that Edwards did in fact cross the plane of the goal line in possession of the football before he lost possession. Had it there. Turned. Does the ball cross the plane? Right there.
Not much doubt about it.
No question.
They do review all of these plays that are close.
No, you have to.
Game.
Yeah, you have to take a look at it.
after review, the ruling in the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown for Winnipeg.
Well, how about this? I thought he was offside, and I did look for flags. Let's take a look at that quick jump by Terrence Edwards. Extra point is good. They don't go for two yet. They've got one more touchdown before they go for two. Minute 37 on the clock.
Slapbacks are going to get the benefit of the doubt as they roll towards the line of scrimmage like that. Let's take a look. The left foot on the line. The ball just snapped. Perfect timing.
Great timing
from Terrence Edwards, and the no call, the right call.
Ray Elgard rule really wasn't even tested there.
But, you know, he made it look easy, Chris. That was a big-time catch. On third down, the game on the line to give his Bombers a chance. The throw behind him in tight coverage. Terrence Edwards comes through.
And now we speculate the short kick.
Yes. I think you do here. I mean, you know, another 30 seconds or so, and I think Paul LaPolice goes ahead and kicks it deep one more time. But now you try the onside. They're going to load up the wide side of the field.
No lead is safe. And this got very interesting. Jump ball. Rugby strong. Winnipeg football.
Did it go 10 yards?
Not sure it did.
I don't think it.
No,
I don't think it went.
8.
Yeah, I don't think it went 10 yards.
Teed on the 35, had to get to the 45, and that possession was a couple of yards short.
Illegal kickoff. Winnipeg. The ball did not travel 10 yards. BC elected to take the ball where it was first touched. First down, BC.
You'll see a great look at it. Ball set up on the 35. And it just bananas back towards that original line and does not get to the 45-yard line. It's about 3-4 yards short.
Yep, Greg Carr is a guy you'd expect would come down with a ball like that, but has to go 10. Pitch to Andrew Harris. Lions are first down away. Harris trying to stay in bounds, and he's followed down around the 32-yard line.
Watch Big Ben Archibald coming around the edge, getting some interference out front of Tim Brown. He's had himself an outstanding football game. Anton McKenzie, Ben Archibald, containing and completely dominating Odell Willis in the first half.
Free agent signing that solidified this offensive line. Harris again. Down inside the 30-yard line. 0-5.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
1-6. And now a minute 24 away from Grey Cup champions. Who'd have thought a team could go 4-14 and stand pat? And who'd have thought a team could go 0-5, 1-6, and keep it all together?
0-5 and to get to the Grey Cup after that start has never happened in CFL history.
Wally Bono said last week, if you stick around long enough, you'll see everything. And he said, this was something I hadn't seen before or experienced. But he knows his way to the winner's circle, and he's close to doing it for the 5th time. Second down, Johnson in motion. And they just get it into the middle here for Paul McCallum to make it a 2-score game. 8-point lead right now, and if McCallum does what he's done all year, the Bombers are likely going to run out of time.
Well, the Bombers here are going to have to load up one side, come off the edge, and it all comes down to one play. They have got to try and get the block here.
Got Doug Brown in the middle of that.
Yeah, good push by Doug Brown.
The 6'8". You know, McCallum knows he's got to get it in the air in a hurry. From 33 yards out, Paul McCallum does just that. Special team player of the year. May have put this one out of reach.
Well, it was the best year in CFL history for a kicker. You mentioned it earlier at 94.3%. That's a CFL record. A CFL record 30 consecutive. Outstanding Special Teams Player Award. And he has gone through some challenges in his career.
He's had the Bombers' number. Back in trouble. There's Garrett across the 40 up to the 42-yard line. 50 seconds to go.
It would be Wally Buono's 5th, tying Don Matthews. His 9th appearance.
Beat the Bombers in 92. He beat the Bombers in 01 and is a head man in Calgary. And looks like he's ready to do it again. Greg Carr across the middle. Not going very far. Stretches out across the 45, which should give him a first down.
Nothing takes nothing away from a great season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. What a story with solo crowds in Swaggerville. Congratulations to the Bombers and their fans. And Buck Pierce proved he can lead a team to the Cup. Paul LaPolice did a tremendous job. 4-14 a year ago. to winning the division in 2011.
Looking downfield, Corey Watson couldn't bring it in. J.R. LaRose was there, and Watson knew he was there.
All Doug Brown can do as the final few seconds of his career tick away is watch. And that's the thing that really exemplified this team, was that never quit attitude. And even when this one got out of hand, they kept battling.
He insists at 37, this is it. His play would indicate there still might be one more year, but he's certainly been staunch in his stance that this will be his last game. Second down. Buck takes a hit. Downfield incomplete. Well, they scored on a third down play on their last series. Staring 3rd and 10 in the game here. And Buck shaken up. That throwing hand looks like it's been injured.
Former BC Lion missed just 2 games this season and was the starter for all 10 wins. Proved he can get a team here. They like Alex Brink behind him. The future is bright for Winnipeg.
Lots gas. Pierce. And it's caught. And they're still alive here as Terrence Edwards makes the catch.
I talked to Brent Johnson throughout the work week, throughout Grey Cup week, about whether or not it would be a career for him. 5-time All-CFL star in the Canadian Football League said he's going to think about it in the offseason. He's got to talk to the coaching staff. Maybe there's a chance. I hope he's back.
Clock running. This might be it. It might be over as Pierce unloads. And J.R. LaRose breaks it up. Nothing left on the clock. And the BC Lions have brought it home. They're the 2011 Grey Cup champions.